Okay, Panzer J back with the Japanese turn in Operation Live and Let Die 8.3. So if you guys have been following the videos of my opponents, you know that Japan is in a very sorry state right now. They have enemies coming from every direction. They're being completely ganged up on. Poor Japan. They only wanted to take the Dutch East Indies. They would have been happy with just declaring war on the Dutch and going about a very peaceful existence with the rest of the nations in the Pacific. But the other nations didn't see it that way, and they've decided to give the Japanese quite a drubbing right now. So it all started with Fighting Irish, and definitely give him kudos. He did get a really good, lucky role for wartime economy for the Commonwealth that put him up over wartime economy so that he could declare war. He needed, I believe, a 9 or higher, and he rolled an 11, so that was good. But just the fact that he declared war on Japan, I didn't see that coming, even regardless of his ability to declare war. I did not see that coming at all. So he's played really hyper aggressive in this game, and definitely my hat's off to him. And Global War 36 enthusiast also, if you watched his video for the common turn, right, this last turn here, this current turn, he has gone to war with the Russians and the CCP on Japan, put all kinds of pressure on me in the Far East. So both of them, and I think they came up with a good plan between them as far as how to deal with the Chinese Civil War. So all of those things have combined to put Japan way behind the 8 ball. I think that if the only bit of bad news from the last couple turns had simply been the British getting their wartime economy, go ahead and attacking the Japanese here in the Dutch East Indies, I would have been okay. On the same turn, the Japanese portion of that turn, I came down, attacked all the Dutch islands down here, and took every one of them, except for Molucca Island, and didn't lose a whole lot in the process. So that was the good news for Japan. But then when the British declared war on that same turn, my huge fleet was dispersed into several sea zones, and Fighting Irish was able to come down and kind of pick off a couple of the weaker fleets and just decimate me of capital ships down here in the South Pacific. Now, the Japanese did give a pretty good account of themselves, and they did take out a bunch of Commonwealth ships. And again, if that was the only bit of bad news on that turn, I think with the fleet that I still have in 123, as well as naval units in the Sea of Japan and a bunch of ships that I can put down off the production chart, I think I could have pushed back on the British. But then the other shoe dropped later in the turn when Fighting Irish got even luckier with his rolls. He had 3 D12s for the United States and rolled 30 out of a maximum 36. I'm not sure what the math is off the top of my head there, but the percentages of getting 30 out of 36 is got to be low, very low. So you're now probably looking at the U.S. getting into the war 2 at the maximum 3 turns from now. And the only real chance Japan had once the U.K. declared war and took out so many of their ships was for the U.S. to stay out of the war for 5, 6 turns, maybe not 6, that might have been unrealistic, but at least around 5 turns to build their forces back up. But now with the writing pretty much on the wall for the U.S. coming in sooner rather than later, I just don't see a lot of hope for the Japanese. But we're going to give it our best shot. We are not going to go on the defensive and just kind of turtle up and protect Tokyo. That'll just, that'll assure defeat, just maybe delay it a little bit. So we're going to still try to be somewhat aggressive and go on the offensive. So first we'll do our tech rolls. We get 2 tech rolls, and we're at stage 3 for wartime economy and stage 2 for improved construction. Those are the 2 techs we're going to go for. So let's go for wartime economy at 7 or higher, and we get a 5, so that doesn't make it. And then improved construction, and we got an 8. So we'll go ahead and move improved construction up one more space. So I would have much preferred to get wartime economy, but what are you going to do? So improved construction and wartime economy are both at stage 3. So then for purchases, the Japanese had a total of $28 to spend, and they're going to save 2 and spend 26, okay? And with the 26, they're going to buy 5 militia at $2 a piece for 10, and then they're going to finish off the 4 light cruisers they had at stage 2, finish them off at $4 a piece for 16. And that will be the $26 the Japanese spend here on turn number 8. So now as far as combat moves go, we do have about 7 combat moves roughly, so nothing too major, but some action. So one combat move is going to be this destroyer in C Zone 133 is going to take this infantry, go 1, 2, 3 into 127, take the Solomon Islands. It's not worth any money for the territory itself, but it is a $1 bonus for Japan. Then in C Zone 123, this fleet consists of a fleet carrier, a light carrier, 2 light cruisers, a transport, a torpedo boat destroyer, and a coastal sub, along with 2 tacticals and a fighter. So the coastal sub is going to peel off of that fleet and go over here to C Zone 124 to convoy Anzac for up to a maximum of $2. So that is 2 combat moves. Then we are going to come down from C Zone 38 with a destroyer and a marine. 1, 2, 3, 4. They can go the extra space because of the major port. Land in New Britain. Take that major port from Anzac. Then another destroyer with a second marine in Kyushu. 1, 2, 3, 4. Along with a heavy cruiser. Is going to land in New Guinea. And also this infantry is going to come over from Dutch New Guinea. So it'll be altogether 2 2s for the infantry class units and a 2 for the heavy cruiser for shore bombardment. So that is 4 combat moves. A 5th combat move is a fighter from Rihe is going to fly down and take out this defenseless FEC transport. That's number 5, and I believe I had 7 altogether. So then the 6th one is going to be this cavalry in Rihe is going to come over 1 to Eastern Manchuria and then 2 and to Primorsky something, okay? There is a coastal artillery there, but since I'm attacking from land, I just destroy the coastal artillery. It doesn't get to defend. And then the 7th battle is going to be all the infantry in Rihe, which I'll have to count those, but I believe it's 7. Along with the motorized, they're going to move up 1 space to Western Manchuria and take on those 2 Russian infantry. So those are going to be the 7 combat moves. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll take this infantry on this destroyer. 1, 2, 3. Land in the Solomon Islands. And let's put down our Japanese marker there. Then a destroyer with 1 marine. 1, 2, 3, 4. Land in C Zone 126 and take New Britain. So let's put our Japanese marker there. Then another destroyer and the heavy cruiser are going to come down with the other marine and land in New Guinea. So put those 2 naval units there. This infantry comes over. So first we get a shore bombardment of a 2 for the heavy cruiser to take on the militia. And we did get a 2. So that kills off that Anzac militia. And that's going to be up $1 for Japan. So again, let's just mark this down with this die. They went up $1 at least in terms of territory this turn. Okay. So that is the 3rd combat move. Number 4 is going to be the coastal sub is going to convoy 124 and C Zone 124 there. So I apologize. I don't have different colored six-sided die right now. So we'll just have to do Japan's roll first and then Anzac. Anzac does not have any modifiers. They don't have advanced submarine warfare. Japan has a +1 modifier because of the coastal sub. So first Japan's roll, a 6 plus the 1, so that's a 7. And Anzac's roll is a 2, that's 5 difference. But Anzac can only be convoyed for a maximum of $2 here. So Fighting Irish will have to take $2 off of Anzac. Then our 5th combat move is going to be the fighter in Rihe. Goes 1, 2. I just destroyed that transport and literally destroyed them. And then 3, 4, and fly to Okinawa, which I'm not supposed to do that yet. That's going to be in the non-combat. So he's there flying around in C-Zone 89. He took out that FEC transport. Okay. Then the cavalry in Rihe is going to go 1, 2, and take that Russian territory. And that is worth $2. So let's move our die up to a 3 for Japanese territory and go ahead and put a Japanese marker there. And then up into Western Manchuria, you've got 2 Russian defenders at 4. You got this motorized that goes, and all these infantry go. So let's take a look and see how many infantry exactly we have. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that, yes, that is 7 infantry. They don't have to cross a river, no mountain territory, no city, anything like that. So no negative modifiers to my attack forces. So 7 infantry and 1 motorized, they all attack at a 2. So I'm going to have 8 2s against his 2 4s. So let's go ahead and grab 8 die here. We got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're looking for 2 or less. And we get actually 2 2s. So we killed off those 2 Russian infantry. They return at 4. And they got 1 hit. So I'm going to go ahead and lose an infantry. And both of his infantry die. So we'll take the Russian roundel off that one. And that's up $1 for Japan. So $4 total. And I believe those are their 7 combat moves, okay? Let me just double check and make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's it. Okay. So that's it for combat moves for the Japanese. So now non-combat. The fighter that took out the FEC transport is going to fly over to Okinawa. It still had 2 movement left. So it's going to fly there with the militia. Then I still have a destroyer and a heavy cruiser in 38. So they're going to come down 1, 2, 3, 4 and join this fleet down here in C-Zone 126. This destroyer in 125 is going to come over to 126. Then this fleet in 123 can go, the 2 carriers and the 2 light cruisers can go 3 spaces. So I had already talked to Fighting Irish about this coastal sub. So we had come to an agreement, since he had forgot to move that coastal sub to attack on the Commonwealth turn, but he meant to. I let him come over and take out the Japanese transport that was there in exchange for free movement through that sea zone without him attacking with his coastal sub. So the fleet in 123 is going to go 1, 2, 3 for the units that can go 3. So that's going to be the 2 carriers and the 2 light cruisers. The transport and the torpedo boat destroyer can only go 2. So they are going to stop in 125. Okay. So I'm just going to move this marker, Japanese marker, fleet marker from 123 to 126. And then all these ships here in 126, I'm going to put on the fleet marker over there. So all together, let's see what we'll have in this sea zone. We've got a fleet carrier, a light carrier, 2 tacticals, a fighter. We've got a total of, let me find it because I know we got another one. We got a total of 3 light cruisers, 1 heavy cruiser, and 4 destroyers, all in that Japanese fleet. Okay, I'll make those look a lot neater here at the end of the turn. So I believe that is all for non-combat. Let me just double check. Yes, I believe that's it. So we're going to go ahead and put the infantry and the motorized over here in Western Manchuria. So they're up there. And that should be everything except for unit placement. Okay, so far as unit placement goes, we've got our 4 light cruisers to place on the board, and we're going to put them over here in Sea Zone 56. Okay, so they're over there in Sea Zone 56. And then for our 5 militia, 1 is going to be placed in Sumatra, 1 in Java, that's 2. 1 in Borneo, that's 3. 1 in West Timor, that's 4. He doesn't seem to want to go there. And 1 in Dutch New Guinea. And that's going to be it for the Japanese. Now, they went up $4. So let's go ahead over here and move them up 4 from 21 to 25. And let's just take a look real quick at their bonuses and see what they got going on here. So they now are at war with a major power. Okay, so they do have Borneo. They do have Java. So they're worth $2 a piece. So that's $4. Down here, they do not have Midway Wake, but they do have Solomon. So that's another $1. So that's $5. And then they don't have any of these Chinese territories. So they have $5 worth of bonuses. And that is it. So $5 worth of bonuses. Plus the $25 they have on the IPPs, that's $30. And the $2 they saved. So Japan should have $32 to spend on turn number 9. That will finish off the Japanese. We'll see you for Italy 8.6.